Hey, who's opening the show?
I don't know. Why don't you go for it?
I'll do
We're
it.
live anyway, so we're already in it. It's gonna be a good show, guys.
Always something at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Horrifically Horrifying. I am Kevin Taft, writer for Edge Media Network, and I'm here with my co-host Heather Wixson from Daily Dead. Welcome, Heather.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Welcome.
We skipped a week. We missed a week. Maybe we didn't. Maybe it was just in your imagination. Maybe we did a show.
We ended up on a beach somewhere, and suddenly the week was gone,
and we got old, and then we had to figure our way back.
Yeah,
that's the sequel. Young.
That is, and here we are.
So we're back. Yeah, we survived. Which we could segue right into that.
Might as well.
Right. So we both saw Old. Here we go.
We did. Wait, I have to go the other way.
Yeah. There we go. I guess we could talk about it. So Heather, you saw Old. What did you think of Old?
I did. It's funny. It's so interesting to watch the online, as the kids like to call it, discourse. Whenever it comes to movies, they love the word discourse. So got to use discourse. So whenever there's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, like there's just something in the energy, and everybody's going and talking, and it gets a little headachy for me because I'm just like, I just want to watch movies. And the thing is, it's like any director, he's got some good ones, he's got some not so good ones.
Yeah.
For me, Old kind of fell right in the middle, where there's certainly things about it that I really, really liked and I thought were really, really effective. Some things I felt could have been better. But the thing is, it's like I saw it like 3.5 weeks ago now, but I haven't been able to stop thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah. There's just something about, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or whatever it is. But there was just something kind of like, once it kind of gets a little off the rails at the end, that I was like, all right, this is, once that pregnancy scene hit, I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. I was like, the beginning, everything's like, oh, I think I have some wrinkles, and oh, my bathing suit's too tight. And it's like, oh my God, she's pregnant and the baby's coming in like 27 seconds. So, and it's really kind of messed up when you think about it. Like, I don't think it goes as deep as it could have with the material.
I agree.
But I like, there are definitely parts of it that I really dug.
Yeah, I don't know if it falls in the middle for me, but I did keep my attention at least. And because it was based on, other source material, I kind of felt like, well, there might be a more concrete plots and twists and things like that, rather than sometimes, somebody needs to rein him in. But I think there are things, I agree with you. There are things that I liked about it as far as some of the mystery. And you're right, they didn't go deep enough, because the pregnancy part, right before the pregnancy part, I was like disturbed. I'm like, where are they? They're suddenly interested in having sex, and they don't even show that, which I thought would have been kind of more interesting, just to see that discovery happen. I mean, it could have been a longer movie. It could have been a TV show, quite frankly. But the things that I didn't totally grab me was that I felt like the main twist, the kind of impetus to get there, was just so telegraphed from the moment it started that I was like, I know where this is going. So none of this is surprising, but I wanted to know more about the beach. And then there's not a lot there about the beach. And I want the twists of knowing what you need to know. I wanted to know stuff that they didn't tell you about. Does that make sense? I'm trying to be.
It does. And the stuff that, like, the reveal in the movie is actually nothing from the source material.
Oh, it's not?
No. I think from what I read, because I kind of did some digging into the graphic novel, and from what I've been able to tell, is that it's all pretty much left a mystery at the end.
Okay.
And the reality is like, movie-going audiences today, you really can't leave something like that a mystery, which is kind of a bummer, because I think for me, it would have worked. That would have been awesome, just to be left hanging kind of like that, even though apparently people don't like that kind of stuff. I do. That's why I kind of love the ending of The Thing, because they're just there and you don't really know what's going to happen. You just know they're both pretty screwed.
Right.
So I would have appreciated something a little more mysterious. But yeah, as soon as they get to the resort and everybody's just super bend over backwardsy, and I was just like, I feel like I have a pretty firm grasp on this.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, but again, to me, that wasn't even like, oh, it was okay. I didn't need sort of that epilogue that kind of comes along
Right.
after
Me neither.
that part. I feel like just sort of having the crypticness of the situation
Hmm.
maybe would have been okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of messed up. Like, how do you do when you're like a 6-year-old kid and you go to the beach, and when you finally get off, you're in your 50s and stuff?
Right.
Like, it's kind of messed up. Like,
And
how do you function as an adult in that situation now?
and I think that's where it lost me a little bit, because I felt like he needed to explore that more, because that was super interesting. Because you're right, it's been a day, but I felt like those characters that they evolved to acted like they were older.
Yeah.
And I was like, you wouldn't actually act like you're older. You're not
Mature.
unless that's part of what the beach did, was actually mature you even mentally. But
I mean,
again,
maybe.
explore that more.
Yeah, because I mean, like again, during the pregnancy scene, like he's freaking out because he doesn't even understand what they've done
Right.
at that point, and he doesn't understand what's happening to her.
Right.
She barely understands what's happening. Like, could you imagine being like, and that the girl was like 4 or like 3 or 4, like she was smaller than him.
Yeah.
When she got to that beach, so you basically have like a 3-year-old who's now in a position of giving birth, which is so messed up. And I wish I would have leaned into that a little bit more. But yeah, they don't really kind of explain some of that stuff. So it's again,
like,
it's
even
like
after
like
6 hours of them just being on the beach, and he was what, 10? And for him, or even younger than 10, for him to suddenly
he was
be
6 and she was 11.
Okay, so
Because I was like the scene when they say like their ages and they're like, "Are you messing with us?"
Right. Which was terribly acted or directed or something. I don't know. It was like, what movie am I watching right now? But point being, just for him to even have matured enough to be, now I'm sexually awoken within 3 or 4 hours since I was a 6-year-old, and that's what I was trying to grasp.
Hormones are a bitch, though. I'll tell you.
But that could have been a thing. That would have been interesting for them to be like, I don't know what's happening to me, but I just felt like all that stuff was just left out, and I wanted to know more. But it kept my attention. Did I really ultimately like it? Would I tell people to see it? I would be like, wait till it's on Netflix. I wouldn't tell people to go to the theater to see it. For me,
yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, it's it's right in the middle for me. And it was funny because I had a friend who actually was like, "Oh, should I go see it?" And I was like, you probably could wait till it's like stream. You can buy it on VOD or whatever. And they went and saw it, and they're like, it was just nice to kind of feel like I was escaping a little bit, but ultimately, I probably could have waited a little bit. So
yeah.
I will say it did make me sad that I haven't been on vacation in forever. I was like, you know what? I would go to. I'm so desperate for a vacation. I would go to the beach for mold. Like that is how desperate I am.
Heather, but you'd be dead in 3 hours.
Yeah,
4 hours. I don't know.
It'd be a heck of a way to go. You're like, I'm on the beach, none of care in the world. So, but I was just like going like, maybe this isn't so bad. I was like, all right. So I will say I didn't see Glass, but I had a real issue with Split and the way, and this has happened a lot in Knight's movies. And I don't know how deliberate it is, or if it's just something that sort of happened, but I don't really like in his movies how he sort of frames people with like psychological issues as villains, because we saw it in Sixth Sense, we saw it in The Village, we saw it in Splits. I know it was a thing in Glass, and in this movie you have a guy who he's already there dealing with like the onset of dementia, and as the dementia is rapidly affecting him, suddenly he's the bad guy. And like, yeah, it's a dangerous situation, but not everybody with dementia is running around trying to stab people.
Right.
Like,
for sure.
Basically, it was like my in the case of like my grandmother, who was like the nicest, sweetest, like, Pentecostal old lady. She just called everybody a bitch. You know, she wasn't stabbing anybody. So yeah, so it's I just feel like there's something there that I don't know that I'm super comfortable with, but I'm hoping maybe it's just me reading into it too much. But Split for me kind of bummed me out a little bit because of great performances and a really great premise, but I just didn't like the way mental health was handled in it, and that was basically what turned me off to even giving Glass any time.
Yeah, I didn't see Glass. I didn't like Split, partly because I was like, you literally advertised the movie as he has 27 personalities, and you showed me 7. So why bother saying he has 27 personalities? Like
sequel,
right?
This is already building into the sequel.
But then at the end, when I was like, really, this is connected to what? Come on now. Yeah. I was irritated. I was really irritated by the end of it.
I felt like a jerk because I didn't realize like that would be like a super spoiler because I just thought it was like a fun cameo at the end. Like I didn't like whatever. And I remember I saw it at Fantastic Fest at like an early screening, and I had to run to the bathroom before they were doing the Q&A. And I remember like tweeting because you always do like your tweet or whatever. And then I was just like, oh, and I'm like, fans of Unbreakable will be really happy. And that's all I said. And like, I came back to my seat and everybody starts like, like they were like yelling at me. And they're like, you have to take that. I'm like, what? And they're like, you're ruining it. And I was like, ruining what? And I was like, so what? He shows up like how, like, I'm not saying anything specifically about what is in that scene. I just said, if you like Unbreakable, you'll be. So I deleted it because I didn't want to deal with it. But I was like, really? Like that's such a vague thing to say. Like I could have said, if you like Signs, you're really going to like this just because it's M. Night Shyamalan. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Anyway, I learned how to basically just give the most generic post screening responses after that.
Learned your lesson.
I was like, I'm not dealing with the heat of this anymore. So, yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of heat, what do we want to look at next? What do we want to discuss? Do you want to look at a trailer? Should we watch a trailer?
Sure.
Well, since we're talking about weird stuff, I almost said this SH word.
I said bitch.
Okay, fine. That's true.
I think I didn't drop the F-bomb. I think we're okay.
I think I did once, didn't I? Well, whatever. So we'll watch the trailer for Lamb because I know you haven't seen it, so I'm curious to see your response. Okay. So this is a new A24 movie, kids. Also foreign film starring Noomi Rapace, right? That's her name?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go.
I may not always love you, but long as there are stars above you, you never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you.
Gotta keep up. With the thief.
So
I've had a really long few months. I don't know that I don't know. But did somebody have sex with the lamb? Like, what's going on?
but this time that I watched the trailer, I was like, maybe those are actually fantasy sequences or like in her head, and they're just not advertising it that way. But there's
Okay.
something up with the other lambs that are like, give us our kid back.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm very intrigued by it. And did you see the poster for it?
Is this like I mean, first of all, I like that it's in the style of like the Mother poster from
Yes.
Darren Aronofsky.
Yep.
But I'm getting strong vibes of like, did you just have sex with a lamb and now we have to raise it scenario? And then also, is it like a spin-off of like Black Phillip from The Witch? Like, I
don't know.
Why not? I'm there.
I know. I'm very intrigued by that one, I have to say. I'm not gonna lie. And I like her a lot too. So
Oh yeah, she was that was Prometheus she was in, right?
Prometheus, girl, the original girl with the dragon tattoo.
Oh yeah, gosh, that feels like forever ago.
I know, right? And then there was she was in what was that Boston one? Not the town. The one with was so good. And she did and it's spot on Boston accent too. It was her and Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
The Drop.
Oh, okay.
She was in that. She was like his girlfriend or something. I love it.
Interesting.
Yeah, but she was amazing in it. I was like, she's so caught up in her own accent that I was shocked that she did the Boston accent flawlessly. So.
And then it's funny that she was in that with Tom Hardy, and then she was with Logan Marshall Green in Prometheus, who I've heard people mislabel him as the poor man's Tom Hardy. Which I don't agree with. Although I do think that they could play brothers, and I would totally buy it. And I would like that movie very much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I remember people were throwing that around when Upgrade came out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They were like, "Oh, you want an action movie, but you couldn't get Tom Hardy," and I was just like, "So." But I actually just showed that to my other half finally.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I really liked it a lot more than I remembered liking it.
Yeah,
so
it's fun.
Yeah, he's really good, and we should have a sequel by now. But
I would think he used to work out at my gym all the time. Around the time that came out, I know he's actually about like he's shorter than I thought, but yeah, he's.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Good-looking boy.
Going to the gym again.
Come on over to Hollywood or wherever.
Nobody shows up at the Planet Fitness near the airport.
No.
So no, not really.
Oh well. With that, let's talk about. I want to talk about some news.
Sure, let's
talk about
news.
Bam, Exorcist news.
There it is. Yeah.
Do you want take it away?
Yeah. So it came out last week that there's a new big deal that just happened between Universal and David Gordon Green's company and Blumhouse, where they're going to be making 3 Exorcist movies. For which this to me is like the thing that I don't understand. I'm not so much opposed to more Exorcist because I think the TV show proved that there's still some really interesting stuff to talk about. But $400 million to me seems ridiculous because one, like it's Exorcist, it's not Marvel. Like how on earth are you going to recoup that kind of money in 3 movies? 2, Blumhouse to me has always been like the company that's really always been able to like deliver these movies for like 10 million or less. Like that's how they became who they are. Like, you know, they were these for a long time, they were the indie darlings where they could go and give, you know, somebody $5 million to go make Insidious or go make Upgrade, as we just talked about, and things like that.
Right.
So to have them out there with this kind of money, like I'm like, it doesn't feel very Blumhousey to me, but you got to evolve. It's business. I get it. I mean, I'm really curious about it. I love that they're bringing back Ellen Burstyn, but also, you know, when are these movies being shot and stuff? Like nobody's getting any younger.
Well, it's funny because I know, and I thought about that too with her, but I was thinking too, they say there's 3, but 2 of them might just go straight to Peacock. And I was like, seriously?
Which again, like, how are you guys gonna?
And then is that just it makes it feel cheap?
Yeah.
by doing that too, which that irritated me. So, and it's funny because I've read a couple articles. One today, the headline was like, she's starring in 3 Exorcist sequels. I'm like, I bet you $1 million it's going to be a couple scenes where he's just going to go talk to her and she's going to give him a backstory, which is probably why Linda Blair hasn't been asked to be a part of the thing. Which,
yeah, I'm sure she, and you have her statement, which we can pop up here on the screen.
yeah,
Which I'm sure it's kind of weird for her because, we saw her story, we saw Reagan's story extended, through the TV show, and
Yeah.
she wasn't involved. So it's really strange, like if they're going to go back to the stories that originated with her character, and they're still not going to ask her, like,
unless it's just like they're holding back and that's going to be the next big news.
yeah,
And maybe they'll do it around Halloween Kills time just to bring more attention to David Gordon Green.
yeah,
Because I thought like unless she's dead, like why wouldn't he go right to her rather than the mom? I mean, I guess Leslie Odom Jr., who's playing the father of a boy, right? I think that it's a son who gets possessed. I guess he would go to the parent and be like, how did you deal with it? But you'd also think like, talk to the girl too. But
yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
unless they're going to totally retcon Exorcist 2, because at the end of The Exorcist, Reagan doesn't really remember anything.
True.
So maybe
I'm
they're
hoping that they
back.
retcon Exorcist 2. I'm hoping they just go from like
everybody is.
Exorcist. I mean, I liked Exorcist 3, but you don't have to. It's not a really
Yeah, you don't even have to deal with
part
it.
of that.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful, and I'm really glad. At least I'm glad that they announced like, nope, this is a direct sequel, pretty much to The Exorcist, and Ellen Burstyn's back, so it gives it a little bit more legitimacy too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. But
yeah, I mean, I'm game for whatever. It's just interesting to me, like, because we have Halloween Kills coming out, like he still has to go make ends because they didn't shoot back to back.
Yeah, that's right.
So is somebody else going to take Halloween Ends? Like, is he going to just
what?
both? Like,
I wouldn't mind that, quite frankly.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I don't think he's good at suspense is the problem. Like, I didn't think Halloween, the new one, and then even in the trailer for Halloween Kills, it's just he shows him killing people. There's no like build up, and I felt like that with 2018's version, which makes me nervous for The Exorcist, since that movie is all about atmosphere. And I'm like, he needs to really, really pump up that atmosphere, and I'm hoping he can do it. I mean, his indie stuff, his first movie, this romance, All the Real Girls with Zooey Deschanel, had a lot of that atmosphere that I love. So I'm hoping maybe he's kind of going to go back to that. But it's just so weird that he's kind of emerged as, he was like this indie darling, and then he started doing stoner movies, and then now he's the horror king. I'm like, what is going? I mean, God love him, do what you want to do. But
yeah. I mean, I actually loved Halloween 2018, and I thought they did a pretty okay job with the pacing in that. Because I don't think, like, this one, basically the way the Carpenters described it, it's like, basically there's blood in the water now. Jaws is hungry. Jaws is going to go feed and make his way through Haddonfield and deal with a bunch of angry people in the town. So, I mean, if you've got a bunch of people out there coming at you, like, yeah, you're going to be killing some people. But I mean,
true. I just want to be nervous about it. I want to be like,
yeah, like for me, like I always think of like the scene when the hunter guy shows up with his kid, and the bus is overturned, and it's all like kind of that misty fog in the air.
Yeah.
And like the dad goes out to look, and then the kid's just sitting in the car, and then he gets out, and then you're just kind of like, you can't really quite see what's going on, and the kid's just kind of nervously walking up, and then he shoots.
That one I didn't mind. That scene I didn't mind. I mean, I did not like it, but I'm nervous about because they showed so many kills in the trailer for Halloween Kills.
I mean, it's in the name, like.
and I guess if he does go on a rampage, we're probably only seeing 2%.
And maybe Halloween Ends is just going to be him and Laurie in therapy together.
Could you imagine sitting on opposite ends of a couch? That would be amazing.
Where they're just like, okay.
With Viola Davis as the therapist.
And you're just like, okay, guys, like, this is ridiculous. Look at all these dead people. We need to work this out. Right. So maybe that is how Halloween truly ends.
And then he's like, but she's she's not your sister.
Yeah.
I know you think that. Lori?
Yeah.
Well, I wish it much luck for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that's all going to shake out. But yeah, I would love to see somebody else come in for the end. I mean, it's so rare to get a horror director to be able to actually finish out their franchises.
Yeah.
I think one of the few was Wes Craven
Yeah.
for Scream. After being screwed around so much during the Nightmares, franchise, like it was nice to see him get to do that. Like, so I'm sure he probably would like to be able to take the story full circle. But also you have Exorcist now. Like, do you take both into production at the same time? Like, it's a lot going on.
I mean, maybe they're really prepared for ends, and honestly,
I'm sure they are.
The last one took like 28 days or something to film, so maybe he can just whip it out and go right into Exorcist at that point. But I'm curious.
Yeah, they said on this one for a year, so they had a whole another year to sit around right now, working on the script for the next one. So
true.
But it's weird to me that they haven't gone into production on it since production started to open up again.
Yeah, and let's hope it doesn't go down again.
Which there already is. I know there's quite a few of them that have been closing down around LA.
So frustrating.
Yep.
So frustrating. I'm supposed to go to New Orleans next week, and I don't think I'm hesitating among going, mostly because they're like now they're requiring masks in all the bars and stuff. Like everything inside you have to have a mask, and I don't mind wearing it, but I'm like, is this going to be fun? Like, should we just wait and just go back? Because I also don't want to go there and have it I mean, it's already so bad. I'm like, I could probably bring it home, and I don't want to do that. I already have heard a couple people, not that I know, but close to people I know, have gotten Delta. They are vaxxed, and it's not actually a light version of it. Like, they're sick.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I've seen quite a few people on Twitter talking about, like, I have a friend double vaxxed. Him and his wife always wear masks. So how did they get it? But they both tested positive for it last week. And they have the Delta strain. And it's like, how does that happen if you literally always wear your mask outside of the house? Like, what the hell?
Yep.
Like, I don't know how that happens. So,
I don't know either.
Yeah, we were supposed to do a music festival this weekend. We canceled that. We just kind of like, I think we're better just staying home as much as possible. And I could tell you, my other half was in New Orleans in May. And it was like Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, people were like, nobody was keeping distance from anybody. Nobody there at that point was wearing masks. Not even the servers at the restaurant, which was definitely not terrifying. He was very militant about his mask. Like, he wore it all the time until like it was like, okay, time to take a bite of a burger, mask down, take a bite, mask back up. But he didn't get sick. So it's weird. It's, I felt like we were kind of making progress, but now we're sort of backpedaling a little
Flipping
bit.
back.
So
frustrating.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about some more horror, since that made us all happy to talk about. So, I mean, I just watched a movie that I could talk about. It's an unnerving, unsettling movie in the vein of we need to talk about Kevin.
Yeah,
that's a sort of, but so it's not horror, but it has a good cast, and I guess I'll just show the trailer since it's not really been talked about a lot, and it does come out this Friday. So
okay, cool.
Last month, John asked me something. It's a weird question. He wanted to know what it's like to be an adult.
Can you please stop?
When do you stop being a kid? I didn't know what to tell him. I don't think he liked that.
Can you tell your mother I'm here?
No, she left.
This is your life, John. This is what you want to do. This could be who you are.
Hi, this is Anna. Hi, this is Anna. Hi, this is Anna.
There we go.
Kids are the worst.
Kids suck.
They do.
So I mean, I kind of liked it, but it's not going to be for everybody for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those where you really have to sit with it to try to figure out what you think it meant. And the only one little, it's not a spoiler at all, but there's a side story that keeps on popping up with people unrelated to these people. And they do a weird twist on what the plot of the story is, but they also make John in the Hole a story, and that's all I'll say. But it was odd, and at the end when it started to end, I'm like, they better go back to this because I really want to know what the hell they were doing, and they do. But I feel like there's a lot of just psychological stuff and just themes that you have to kind of sit with for a while. But it was, I wasn't bored. I was interested. The filmmaking is great, and there's an opening shot. It's probably in the first 5 minutes that went in a very brief but unexpected way, and I literally like just was glued to the TV for a second because I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Oops, I said it.
You did it! Oh my gosh!
MPAA.
Oh gosh, it's gonna be a bummer to have to do the shows without you from now on.
I'm fired.
Some of us can keep our potty mouths in check. Thank you.
I can't. Anyway, I did enjoy it. Again, it's not for everybody. Not totally horror, but there are some unnerving and weird. I mean, clearly he puts his family in a hole. So
yeah, I like that kid because he was in this Netflix movie a few years ago called Eli.
Oh, he was in Eli. I saw Eli.
Yeah, and that was actually, that kind of surprised me. I was really expecting sort of bland, middle of the road kind of a experience, and I was like, oh, this actually surprised me. And it also has Lily Taylor, which is, you know, always a good time. But yeah, I think for me, because they had this at Sundance this year, and I think it even played South by also. But I got very much sort of the Lodge vibes off of it. And The Lodge is a great movie I never want to watch again because it's just so nihilistic and such a downer. And I love Goodnight Mommy, so it's nothing against the filmmakers. They made a hell of a movie. But I'm just like, I'm good if I don't see that again. Like, because that movie was super messed up for me.
That one's more messed up than this one, for sure.
Okay. Because I actually, it's funny, like, movies don't bother me. Movies don't scare me or anything like that. But that movie, I actually woke, like, for The Lodge. I remember I saw it at Sundance 2020. Was that 2020 or 2019? It was
2019, yeah.
It was 2019. And I remember I woke, because it was the first night, and I remember I woke up in my hotel room twice during the night having panic attacks. And there's a certain point in the movie where characters wake up and they have duct tape over their mouth. And I actually, the second time I woke up, I thought somebody had duct taped my mouth shut. And I was like so discombobulated. And I was like, okay, I think you guys have made a doozy of a movie. Which, I mean, again, it's just an earmark of really fantastic filmmaking. But I was like, I'm good. Like, the dog stuff was too much. Kids being like total jerks, I get it. But no, I don't need that. I already know kids are bad people. But yes, I kind of got the same sort of vibes off of this. I'll probably get to it eventually, but I know it was like coming out this week. I've got like a million deadlines, and I was like, all right, I'll just catch up with it when I can. So
yeah, it's one of those. But it was, it's definitely not The Lodge as far as the disturbing. It's more just kind of like an unnerving curiosity.
Okay,
I guess is a good way to put it. We have we have one new trailer that came out last week for Neil Blomkamp's Demonic. Yeah. Which the thing I find most fascinating about it is that the lead is Carly Pope, who was in Popular, Ryan Murphy's first show. She was one of the girls that, one of the teenagers that moves in next door to what's her face, the other blonde. And, she's done stuff here and there, some Hallmark stuff. She might have done some TV shows that I didn't see. But I was like, oh, my gosh, look at her starring in a big movie. So I was like, good for her. But I guess we can check out this trailer because I've only seen it once.
Yeah, same here.
Let's look at it.
How is this possible? Do you know what this place is?
mother Angela. She's our patient.
I've been out of touch with her for a very long time. Oh my God.
Her mind is very active in the simulation.
Simulation?
She went on a homicidal rampage. This is your chance to ask her why.
Mom?
Carly, you have to go. You have to go.
Guys, please let me out. Can you hear me? You have to go. Guys!
What are we doing?
No. Just wait.
Are you sure that you haven't been having any hallucinations outside of the simulation?
Demonic possession.
It could be real.
I can't do this.
You want to end up like your mother. The Vatican has been funding a black ops unit. Using priests like soldiers.
Now that it's free, it won't stop coming for you.
Stop right there.
I'm back. We're back.
Yeah, I'm all in.
Me too.
It's funny because you mentioned her and I looked her up really quick because I was like, I feel like she's worked with him before, and she did on Elysium.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, which isn't one of my favorites that he's done, but I really like Neil's work a lot. In fact, when I first moved here, one of my friends stole a bus poster of District 9 for me. So now I have it's literally 30 by it's about 7 or 8 feet tall and 4 feet wide. So it's I had to roll it up and put it away, but I actually had it on my wall in our first apartment together because it was so cool. But yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm curious because this doesn't look like, we were talking about The Exorcist. This doesn't look like every other exorcism movie out
Right.
there.
It gives me a little bit of Flatliners vibes too. Like they do some medical thing and then we brought something back.
Yeah.
Type thing. So yeah, no, it looks really, I'm totally down because you're right. I didn't know where the trailer was going, which is fun,
Yeah, totally. I feel like also Chappie gets a little picked on.
I love Chappie.
Right?
I liked it a lot.
I liked it too, but I feel like everybody just really picked on it when it first came out. And I was just like, relax, guys. It's it's just, it's just a movie. Everybody took it really seriously.
It's probably my favorite of his, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, District 9 was fine. I kind of thought it got interesting and then it ended. And was like, no, I want more. And then Elysium, I don't even remember.
I remember going to it and I remember nothing about it.
I know I've seen it, but I couldn't even tell you what it's about right at this moment. When you said it, I'm like, oh, right.
You're like, oh, the Matt Damon one.
Let's not talk about Matt Damon.
Yeah.
He's a moron. All right. Sorry, Matt Damon, but
you don't have to apologize to him.
That's true.
I think he's fine.
He
deserves it.
He does. Well, we only really have one other thing we can show or talk about is the new Nighthouse trailer. I know you've seen it. I have not seen it. I'm super excited about it. So no spoilers.
I'm going to spoil everything right now.
Okay. Well, this is a good trailer, though. I really like this trailer.
All houses wherein men have lived and died are haunted houses. Through the open doors, the harmless phantoms on their errands glide, with feet that make no sound upon the floors.
I miss trailers that say like have the guy saying their name at the end.
Right.
Like we need that. We need more of that.
I just saw another one that it was the same guy too. I can't remember what movie it was, but I was like, whoa.
Yeah, we need more of that. Yeah, I actually just realized that I was quoted in that trailer.
You were?
I was genuinely nerve shredding there at the end.
Nice. I actually was thinking about you during it. I was like, I wonder if she got quoted, and I didn't even notice it.
I hadn't seen this one yet. Yeah, again, I feel like I've been living with this movie for forever now, which I have. But I'm a big David Bruckner fan. I've been a huge fan of his for a really long time. And I even we talked about Netflix before, but I really liked his movie, The Ritual, that he did for that.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a pretty good one that I was kind of surprising. This one, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how people react because it's not the movie you think it is. And I'm curious to also see if they've changed anything since Sundance, too, because there's a lot kind of happening, but in a good way, if that makes sense. But yeah, I just realized because I looked up David Bruckner really quick, I didn't even realize, but he's working on the new Hellraiser.
Oh, is he directing it?
He is directing it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I really one of the films that really sort of was like the beginning of like my career doing this stuff was called this movie called The Signal that he did years ago. It was like an anthology movie basically. Yeah. And I just adore those guys, and I've been following all of them ever since. And I've made some good friends along the way because we were talking earlier about Fantasia movies. Like Jacob Gentry has Broadcast Signal Intrusion, which sort of ties into The Signal, and that's playing at Fantasia and stuff like that. So it's been really cool to see like everybody's careers evolve in different ways. But this movie was like, I really just was like, okay, we're going to go into like a little bit of a ghost in the house movie, and it is not that movie whatsoever. So I'm really curious to see what the responses are going to be like.
I feel like they revealed a little bit in the first trailer that they're not revealing in the second trailer.
Okay.
Because they show you.
I don't even think. Yeah, I don't even think. Yeah,
okay.
That's still not even.
Okay, good.
It's still not even the whole hand that they're playing with.
Okay.
So I think
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
This is her second horror movie too. Didn't she do? What was the one she did? It was a British or even Irish one.
Oh,
The Awakening. The Awakening.
Was that what that was called?
I think it was called The Awakening.
Okay. I was trying to remember. I feel like it had to be more memorable than that, but no, you're probably right. I'm looking it up very casually and quickly. She was also just in Kong versus Godzilla.
True.
Godzilla versus Kong. Yes, The Awakening.
Yeah,
that was a while ago.
That was a long time ago, for sure.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I'm super excited about this one, though. So
yeah,
woohoo!
Yeah, I think it's definitely. Oh goodness, everybody woke up. They got spooked by the Nighthouse. Yeah, I think this is going to be a fun one for people to talk about. It's weird because like right now we're in such a weird spot where like the big tentpole movies really aren't hitting because of the pandemic and everything like that. And I don't really know what these mid-level movies are doing. I don't know if, you know what I mean? Like people are going to go see Suicide Squad this weekend because it's the big movie. Like, are people going to go see the Nighthouse? I really hope so because last year it was these movies that kept us going while we held all the tentpole movies. So I feel like they're in some regards, they're kind of getting like a little bit lost in the mix.
And they keep on like Demonic, Nighthouse open the same day, and then there's one that opens like a week later.
No, Nighthouse is this weekend, I think, isn't it?
No, I see it on the 18th. So no, it's the 20th.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yes, and then they said Demonic was either the 20th or it's the weekend after.
I think it's the 20th because I'm doing stuff for it.
And then I feel like there's one more horror movie that comes out either that week or the week after. Well, and I was like, are you kidding?
Well, we also have Don't Breathe 2 this month, and we also have Candyman.
Don't Breathe is the 13th, right?
It's the 13th, and Candyman's the 27th.
Right, because I can't actually see Don't Breathe because I have something that day, so I'm gonna have to pay for it. Yeah, and then Candyman's the one after. So it's almost now there's too many.
Yeah.
There's one of them is gonna get lost.
I mean, that's the thing. I'm a little nervous. I mean, the reality is like box office doesn't make or break this overall success of a movie or the overall quality. You know, a movie, it's not
Sure.
blah blah indicator of it, but ultimately, like, you want these directors to do well so they get other opportunities and we get more horror and stuff. So I don't know. Yeah, it's August is like, oh, there's a lot of horror.
There is.
So it's all Rob Zombie's fault for putting out horror back in the early 2000s and doing well at it, because now we get a lot of horror in August.
I mean, Sixth Sense too. That was the first
Yeah.
weekend in August. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's our show.
Yeah, I guess that
so to
is.
speak. But I guess we'll be talking about the movies that we just previewed in the weeks to come.
In a few weeks. So yeah, come back and you could actually hear us talk about them in like actualities and such.
And see what you guys think about it too, because
Yeah.
I'm always curious about that. All right, well then I will say goodbye and join us next week.
That's my dramatic goodbye.
I like that was very nice. That was very
Thanks.
nice. But yeah, thank you for watching. Make comments if you want to make comments down below, as the kids do, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Bye.
Bye.